foster, grow it. From the Stash Podcast.
Thank you, AC Infinity, for sponsoring today's video. If you're looking for new pots, consider checking out AC Infinity's Fabric Smart Pots. Their heavy-duty material is crafted with double-stitched nylon handles and 500-gram thick non-woven fabric that makes a permeable, tear-proof wall for excess water draining and maximum stability. If you want to check out their pots, go to acinfinity.com, use promo code THESTASH15, and consider saving a few dollars and getting yourself some quality pots.
This episode is brought to you by Stash Blend. I've been using Stash Blend for over a year now, and it's awesome. One of the things that I really like is that it saves me money. It's a whole bunch of different inputs in one. So I no longer have to go out there and buy a silica bottle, then a separate seaweed bottle, beneficial bacteria, then a separate one for mycorrhizal fungi. All of that plus more is in this one blend. Go to stashblend.com to learn more about it, and I also have a link down in the YouTube description section below.
What's up, guys, from the Stash Podcast? Welcome back.
Oh, hey, guys.
Good
what's
to
up?
see you. Oh, what do you...
What's
We
up?
won't highlight what's going on over there on camera 3, but...
No.
No, over here. No.
I was just working out.
It's just working out.
Sorry,
Yeah, stretching
guys.
some dumbbells. Yeah,
I was just doing taxes.
doing taxes.
How's
That's
it-
a believable one.
I was charity work, canoes.
Canoes.
How's everybody doing?
Fantastic, brother. It's great
Welcome,
to be
boys.
here, man.
Welcome, boys.
Wonderful.
Great to be here, boys.
I
Quite
like your guys' shirts representing good shows.
Thank you.
Pigeons for 20. That's a Stash merch piece, correct?
Yeah, one of the
Oh, yeah.
originals, if I'm not mistaken.
Originals. That looks like it was airbrushed in the hood for somebody's funeral.
Yeah,
That's an original. Our new one is a little different.
Yeah.
Like we need to get like clouds and wings on the side of that. And then the date when we started.
Right?
Rest in
Rip.
peace.
Yeah.
No, but we're like, we came from heaven is what we'll say instead.
Yeah.
We'll be like, that's coming down from heaven, not going up.
You're the only
Reading
10
it
I
wrong.
see. Oh,
Mhm.
see what I did there?
Classic shirt. Stashmerch.com.
Stashmerch.com. Well, this
Love
being
that.
episode 187, I feel like we should talk about something that I feel like is killing my high, and I hope not, but may potentially kill the game for a lot of people.
Kill the industry. Yeah.
Kill the industry. Yeah, because the rest of it, we should be hyped.
Is the industry going to die?
Is Schedule 3 going to schedule the things into pretty much a restricted area where we can't have freedom for growth? What do you guys think this is going to do? Maybe first we touch on what are Schedule 3? What's Schedule 3 versus Schedule 1? Chris, do you have something in front of you?
No.
No,
I just did a video on it, so I'll tell you. Pain medications, talking about even Suboxones are on the list, which they consider that a non-pain medication, even though it does work like an opiate. You've got steroids that are on that list. Tylenol is also on the list, of course, as well. But also, if you're sipping on that syrup, you got codeine that is on the list. So these are things that they fall underneath the thing that, oddly enough, is super pharmaceutical and is super controlled. It's even more controlled than 1, because 1 is just, no, it's trash. Now 3, essentially, it's accepting that there's medicinal benefits, but also that there's abusable sides to it, and it's a potentially abusable side. So is Schedule 3 good for the masses or just the end consumer, do you think? At all, or anyone?
What do you think, Chris?
Well, you're Canadian, and you already know what it's like to get taken over by the government.
Yeah, I'll give you a prime example. But Chris, go ahead. You want to start?
No, you go ahead.
Okay.
You go first.
Yeah.
You, let me speak.
Man, I'm
Hashtag.
generally speaking, when it comes to issues like this, I'm pretty optimistic. I like to think that there is a spot for us to be excited about and to kind of champion and move towards. When it comes to this, that is not the case. I don't think this is anything more than smoke and mirrors to the public and the citizenry. I am a Canadian. I have been able to watch what happens in America in regards to its approach to our plant and its laws, and how the federal government takes an overall stance and the states take, a differing stance, and kind of the trouble that's brought in regards to our industry and the struggle between the banking system, the criminal system, or the justice system. And when I hear about hype words like rescheduling or decriminalization, I hear nothing more than Charlie Brown's teacher when he's sitting in class and you hear womp 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 womp, because this is nothing more than smoke and mirrors for the citizenry. It's no surprise or coincidence that this is happening right before an election. That's what happened in my country. We had an election on the horizon, and a political party decided they would then champion on being able to legalize our plant. And let me tell you, it worked. It worked because there's been a huge fight, we know, since the 1930s to get retribution for our plant, because it's been demonized and criminalized and stigmatized, and it's unfair, and we've had to battle for it. So when we hear about this, it's normal to get excited, I think, and it is something that sparks conversation. However, this is a passing of buck. This is our government saying, I'm not going to deal with this. I'm just going to pass the buck on to something else. Decriminalization, they pass the buck on to the justice system. And in regards to rescheduling, they're just passing the buck. It's still illegal. It's still scheduled. So it's looked at as something that's wrong, illegal, should be exploited and manipulated. And giving it to the medicinal system is even worse. Look at what's happened to pharmaceutical companies. They've taken something like drugs, medicine, pills, and they've just extrapolated funds and money out of people's health by taxing their medicine, by increasing the price of medicine. I see the same thing happening with this in regards to our plant. Mom and pop shops won't be dealing it. It'll be gone. There won't be the ability to just do it yourselves, because it'll be done at a level that's just so manufactured that people won't do it at home. It's like nobody brews beer anymore. Yeah, nobody makes pharmaceuticals in their basement. So it's like I don't see a good in this one.
Well, Chris, you should say something.
You've got people saying that this is a big win. This is a step in the right direction. We are moving in the right direction. It is becoming a little bit more hands off as far as the government. And then you got people who are like, the industry is burning down. It's ending as we know it. And I do want to actually read. We actually did a live stream on this. We talked about it a little bit, but I think it's worthy of bringing up what this gentleman here, Anthony Minateri, he's actually a pharmacist in charge at Bell Pharmacy. And he put out a tweet, it looks like, back when this news was first announced. So May 1st, or it might have been the end of April when it was announced. And this is one of the guys who was like, the industry's done, right? So I'm going to read it here word for word. And and then you guys be the judge on if this is just BS or if there's legitimacy to this. So he says, quote, if the DEA reschedules Canna to Schedule 3, the industry as it exists is finished. Rescheduling means the following. 1, all can sales will end because Schedule 3 hugs are prescription only. See what I did with the hugs? For example, Coke is a Schedule 2 drug. Do you see any legal rec Coke shops? Anabolic steroids, a Schedule 3. Where are those dispensaries? This will put all rec dispensaries out of business. In order to dispense a Schedule 3 substance, access will be limited to licensed pharmacies only. 2, all can dispensary owners will be forced to register and obtain DEA licenses in order to dispense can. As a pharmacist who's gone through this process, I can tell you if you have any sort of drug conviction in any particular or felony conviction in general, you have no shot of obtaining a license. All equity license holders are immediately out. It continues on. 3, once the legal barriers are removed, sure, banking opens up and state lines may be erased. Our industry will then be overrun by big pharma, big tobacco, as well as entities such as Amazon, chain drugstores like CVS and Rite Aid that are failing and need a new revenue stream. Will go all in on this. All prices will be set by PBMs. I don't know what that is, because prescription-only hugs follow under insurance controls. Small businesses stand no chance against that. And then he goes on. He's like, for me, hey, I'm a pharmacist who owns a pharmacy. It's all going under my roof. blah, 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 blah. So this is a guy who's saying that the world is collapsing here. The industry is collapsing. It's going to end. I personally think that's a little bit far-fetched. I think that they would have to restructure everything, right? And I don't think they're going to do that. I think that the legal dispensaries that are in place right now are going to continue to operate as is. Maybe if the feds turn around and say, hey, no, you guys can't do that, I think the states are going to push back and say, hey, this is our state, kind of like they're doing now with it being Schedule 1. Although there are now federal protections in place that allow these industries to continue to operate. Whether or not that changes now, it's going to Schedule 3 is unknown at this point. But I don't think that everything's just going to close down overnight. Now, one thing I will say before I pass the mic off to one of you guys is that I think it is a win for those red states that are fully illegal at this point, where they are prosecuting people for having possession, for example. Instead of being charged as Schedule 1, you'll be charged as a Schedule 3. So that's a little bit less of harsh punishment when it comes to actually locking people up. So, yeah, it's a lot of mixed thoughts on this one.
Selfishly, us who want to grow, us who want to be in the industry, us who want to be able to be in the business, that's the ones that are impacted the most. The end consumer, they may potentially be able to have their insurance cover these things. They may be able to have way more access to it. They may be able to have coverage for their job so they don't lose their job. They may actually have rights so they don't have to worry about losing their kids. There's a lot of benefits. And that's the thing is, I'm only coming at it from my perspective as a home grower and as somebody in this space, and looking at the industry as something I have a passion to help mold. Now that it shifts over here, will there still be an exception for recreational side, like you said, state by state? And that's okay, but then there'll be nationwide medicinal. That's maybe what I could see more, is we're going to have the basically the multi-state, the MMOs, the bullshit businesses, MSOs, MMOs, thing, other stuff, MSOs, yeah, multi-state operators can now capitalize on this. You'll see the Tilrays, and you'll see these brands that are massive who now say, we can set up shop. We'll buy all these mom and pop shops, and these are national chains that we're allowed to have like a CVS, so to speak. But this is medical only. But then at that point, is there going to be medicinal programs? Are caregivers being destroyed? Patients, all these things, that's gone. Because now you got rid of this person. Why they're not going to have somebody with holistic health stuff at home taking care of a patient, when you can go to CVS or you can go to our Tilray place and you could buy our prescription and your insurance will cover it and you're good. Because now you have insurance companies who will lobby this, and you're going to have pharmaceutical companies who can lobby this. So it's changed what we had before. We don't have people who push so much anymore for medical. That was the first get through, like the Trojan horse. Now it's all recreational. So I don't know if recreational will change as much as we think. I think it's those who maintain medical licenses per state, places like Florida that just recently more opened up for growth, but it's medicinal completely. Those are the places I see really potentially having some issues. I do kind of agree, and you brought up a valid point. State by state, it's Schedule 1 and they're doing it. What makes the difference there, other than lobbyists and money and legislation that changes state by state based on those states getting funded by corporations like Johnson & Johnson? That's, I guess, my biggest concern is where it becomes the money, the evil of corporations, and what you see in politics right now, because they open the floodgates.
I actually agree with just about everything that pharmacist or that tweet said. What I also agree, because you made up a really good point, Chris, is that this is not going to happen overnight. You can't deny that the pharmaceutical industry has had a remarkable impact on the human race. The morality rate of Westerners in particular has gone up significantly since modern medicine was introduced. Modern medicine being the practices, the technology, but important, the availability and widespread distribution of pharmaceutical drugs. However, look what that has done to natural remedies, natural medicine. It's almost non-existent. You have to be a part of some weird tribe or cult or yoga class to understand really kinesthetics. See, obviously, I know all about it.
Pilates, all that crazy witch stuff.
But all this witch stuff, all that crazy stuff. You have to be a part of some pretty small groups to be a part of this. Now, what the examples we gave are extreme examples. Obviously, those are popular, but go to other places in the globe that aren't impacted by modern medicine, and they use an array of other natural medicines to take care of their ailments. Now, that's not to say that the pharmaceutical industry should just be taken out. No, there's a place for it. But what I'm saying is that it is wiped out pretty well any possibility of natural medicine, because the pharmaceutical industry is the end all to be the be all to end all, right? And a few years ago, or not a few years ago, and the reason I want to touch on the point is of it not taking over, it not happening overnight, is that the pharmaceutical industry didn't just get like this. There, back 20, 30, 40, 50 years ago, there was only like two pharmaceutical companies. You would have Bayer and, I don't know, Coke. I'm sure there's a few others. But it became the pharmaceutical complex, industrial complex that we have today throughout generations of time. I don't see the scheduling of this plant staying like this for that long. Of course, that's the optimism in me. If there's as much money and exploitation happening from our plant as is with the pharmaceutical industry, where does it stop? Where do you end it? Like, could you stop the pharmaceutical industry now? Good luck. So, yes, I agree with most of what he said, but it is going to take some time for this to happen. I just don't think we're going to stand by that for that long.
Yeah, I agree. And so in Canada and in Israel, how they did their stuff when it comes to the genetics, it looks like they have a ballpark of 23 commercially available cultivars, and they were underneath a license of DNA extraction and whole genome sequencing. So they were able to see these are the ones that hit the tiers of what currently today we know every person's endocannabinoid system may require. So they're hitting the 23 different main ones. Now, when you think about it, land races, that probably would have been adequate. Now we've just got preference with so many different flavors and so many different varieties. Do you guys see potentially something like this happening with the Schedule 3, that they'll decide to limit genetics are going to be impacted?
No, I don't think so. I think there's too many out there. I mean, how would they even go about doing that, right? What are they going to tell dispensaries? Oh, you can only sell these much, and growers, you can only grow this. It's out of control. There's no way that they're going to be able to control that.
I don't think it's about control, man. I really feel like it's about overwhelming the people with just a couple options. Like, yeah, as a home grower, we are excited about finding the next pheno, about grabbing those next cannabinoids, finding something that speaks to us. But at mass, if let's say, whatever, let's just insert the Canna Pharmacy Company here, Canna X. If Canna X comes around and just throws cookies, Kush, and another one at us, and they get it to a point where you got your three choices, your medium, small, and large, and that's it. And they just
they have
a price
day,
at like
night, and
that's it.
Buzz.
That's it. And then just like NyQuil. And then they've got the price point at $2 a gram, $1.50 a gram, 50 cents a gram. Like, it's going to be astronomically stupid because they have these
the prices down.
Massive warehouses that can just pump out herb, 3 different kinds. And then Rob said it, the average smoker is going to be like, awesome. I get it for $1.50, and I get my day, night, and my during the whatever.
Yeah, my insurance covers it anyways, just like any of my prescriptions, like my pills.
That's why it ends up going so low, is because the insurance companies are in cahoots anyways, so the price of it just drops. So it's like, people, why? Like, why would anyone other than you, me, and Rob grow something different?
Well, craft, right? You just named off Budweiser, you named off Bud Light, and you named off Miller Lite, right? So there's all these other different flavors,
and they dominate the system. Like, just those few.
But
those aren't craft,
though.
right?
That's the difference. Though this is
you're right.
By the people's choice. This isn't government restrictions saying you can't make these other ones.
Because there's Tylenol, Advil, and ibuprofen.
And then generic versions that use the same exact chemicals that are from these same companies. So Biden recently is adding a $460 billion appropriations to the Farm Bill. And there's a lot of chatter that the Farm Bill is getting ready it's being released right now, like soon. It was May 22nd, the committee releases disappointing and partisan 2024 Farm Bill draft. So they're changing things up dramatically. And a lot of people are talking heavy, and this is just chatter, but the chatter before that said seeds were going to be legal to sell in the States legally, a part of the Farm Bill, 2018 Farm Bill, they're saying this is going to be taken away. They're going to remove this. And same with the THC classifications because of people with the THCA. And these are things that, damn it, the timing is odd, man. Now that they're going to change this and change this, well, now we're going to make it federally illegal. And when it's not just federally illegal to do the recreational medical thing side of that, it's legal on medical side. So it changed in a sense where they didn't acknowledge this as any sort of thing that was worth these multi-billionaire crazy companies to be involved in. They didn't want to touch it. They were concerned to touch it. Now these people will do everything. They'll buy your country, and they already have. Look at America, man. Now I'm really worried about we're letting the sharks in, the wolves in, because this isn't your local Rich, Chad, and Brad. These are international players that are $1 trillion brands.
This is the pharmaceutical industry that's already had generations to build, too. And insurance of This isn't the beginning of the pharmaceutical industry. This is just them. Whoop, thank you. Bloop.
We went to war and took opiates from other countries, like over opiates and stuff and things like that. Look at Vietnam. Look at even over in Iraq, like in Afghanistan. There's all these situations where it's been proven about the mass influx of our opiate issues, and then somehow, some way, the FDA is involved in everything's kosher when it's pharmaceutical companies. But when it's agriculture for the people, or when it's medicinal, natural remedies, look at the kratom scare. Everyone's like, this stuff's the devil. You're gonna die. People, I mean, even like everybody dismisses essential oils essentially in science. It's all just like taboo stuff. It's because they can't control these things. You can get lavender and extract it and make these things. But now that they're making it so they could literally potentially patent it, limit how we can get our genetics, it's going to go back to the underground. And I'm feeling almost happy. We're going back. Let's get some fire again. Let's have some fun events. Let's keep low key. Let's get that energy. I like it.
Chris, I feel like you disagree.
No? I agree.
Okay.
I agree. What I was going to say is that I think one of the companies that are going to come in, probably one of the first companies that are going to come in, and they're just going to dominate, Amazon. Amazon's going to come in, right? They already are working on the medical side of things, right? They have like a pharmacy now, like an Amazon pharmacy or clinic or something like that. So people can actually go through Amazon. I think it's part of Amazon Prime too, I think. And you can get a consultation with the doctor. You can be prescribed stuff. And so they were looking to buy out apparently like CVS and Walgreens and stuff like that. I don't know whatever happened with that, but they're trying to become a major player in this. And imagine when they're signed off. Okay, you can and you can just ship it out to people. It's game over, man. Overnight shipping, same day shipping
for free via Amazon. Yeah,
that's what's going to be, I think, the biggest game changer in all of this is when a company like Amazon, it has the approval to start shipping it to consumers. And I completely agree with you, Pigeons, where you like the price is going to come way down.
It has to.
It has to,
yeah.
Right? It's going to be priced lower than the dispensary because that's how they're going to be able to compete, right? It's going to continue to come down.
Amazon can take a $1 billion loss on this to just get a brand going. They can afford to lose for a year, 2 years before it goes.
That was their strategy to begin. I worked for them for 8 years, and they literally initiated like the free shipping thing that they had. They were losing money hand over fist, losing money, but they were making monies in other area, right? So people were buying more products from them, so they were making up for it. So they would go in there fully knowing that they would be potential loss with the first year. I don't think there really will be a loss off of this, but yeah, I don't think they're scared to take a loss.
No. And that's what's scary. That's what's scary but
there's still going to be craft, right?
Of course,
there's still going to be home growers. There's still going to be local breeders doing their own thing, and that's going to be appealing to people. But it's so easy to just go on the internet, click a couple buttons, and then you got it shipped to your door.
Yeah.
And, I mean, Canada's already just ordered some today. Right?
Yeah, Canada is already doing, like, it's already there. Our system,
it's already in place.
Our system is Jody Emery, I got this quote from her. Legalization in Canada is prohibition 2.0. It's legalization for whom? Because it's not legal for everyone. Because the amounts are restricted, the dosages are restricted. Couldn't get clones, couldn't do plants, couldn't grow. Couldn't be near the schools, and so on and so forth. There were so many restrictions, and that's just as it is right now. And it's only gotten it has got a little bit better, but it hasn't got a whole lot better. So people have resorted to the black market. There are very successful markets where you can have premium products sent to you for over half the price that you're getting on the legal market. And that's what happens when the system is done inefficiently and not for the people. But this is why I'm kind of worried, though, that if Amazon does it, man, I got to tell you, if you could ship me an ounce to my door for $15, why would I grow, man? Why would I? Because it's so much more expensive. And that's where I see this going. There always will be craft, but if you ask a craft brewery, what are your struggles? I bet you their struggles are going to be getting recognition, getting on the shelf, getting that same awareness that customers have towards that Amazon brand, So,
well, it's like that's
great for the consumer. You said it, Rob. It's great for the consumer in a way.
The end consumer who doesn't care as much, who's cool going to the dispo for $90 ease or less. They're like, yeah, dude, it's awesome. No, my insurance covers
People
it.
celebrate $90 an ounce, man. People get excited
I'm just worried
about that.
Where the caregiver space is going to die from this. We're going to go back into the dark ages there. Now I'm seeing the big thing that was just updated just as I'm looking at it, literally 11:33. They redefined hemp now. So all the seeds should be good, but it's looking like anything like Delta, all the stuff Yola's pushing, all that stuff is now excluded, being removed. So
hopefully they got a good hustle out of
and
it.
we didn't get to vote. Nobody got to vote on this. So we're now in the day and age where let's sit and wait. I know none of us who are listening and watching are probably going to change a damn thing. It's going to stay the same. But just know that accessibility to some things, as open and free as you are for some things, it's really going to make it difficult in a sense to be able to have as much freedom and flexibility. But people have done it for years, man. Like this plant's been around for a long time. And a lot of people would argue that since it's been more accessible, it's gotten watered down and diluted in a sense that it's not as good as what it once was. So maybe with the real people, the real passionate ones who are doing this, who are about it, they may be us, all of us, we may be able to bring that next push, because this is just a new prohibition. It's a new version of it. So let's get through this and let's see what we can do to make it better, because I don't see it changing for most people, man. I don't.
I bet you when this goes more mainstream or more manufactured, the side effects, think of the side effects, the list of side effects. Side effects might include diarrhea, swelling of all kinds of, it's going to be huge.
Excessive hunger.
Excessive vomiting, possible death.
Mouth.
It's like, oh my God. from this? Wait for it.
If we have more of these passionate people who are doing things, I think we're going to do well. And at the same time, this is going to open it up for more people to be consumers. The consumers may get more educated from all this stuff that's already been out there, and they're going to seek more and they're going to want more. It's going to have consumer protection, patient protection. There's going to be financial gains for people who have already, been going the accessory route, so to speak, or like us even, where it's like, hey, it's legal now, everybody can deal with it. Cool. But those who are directly touching the plant, especially on the medical side right now, have to have some concerns. I'm still a caregiver. I've still got patients. The program's on its last leg because most people just do recreational. I don't see how they're going to have a recreational version of a Schedule 3 and a medicinal version. I just think if anything, it's going to start as it opens it up, and then eventually it's going to be the lobbyists who push against it. We almost had local random companies here in Michigan shut down the caregiver program or change it up. Just random Chads and Brads. So I can only imagine when royalty pulls up here with $1 billion to buy the Great Lakes and to take, you know what I'm saying? Like, I'm concerned when that time comes. And just like you said earlier, P, it's going to be a long time before that comes. I think it's probably going to be 3 to 5 years before we see that at least.
Or longer.
Or longer.
Right? Because you'd have a change in government and things go at one or of which ways. You actually make a really good point too. It's like, maybe this is how it comes full circle. Maybe this is the apex or the climax of the story, where it's like, this is where it now starts coming. We're at the crest, and now it starts coming down in regards to people don't know what Tylenol was before it was Tylenol, because it's just Tylenol. We know what this plant was before the days of pharmaceutical, or let's just say the days of Schedule 3 or 1, which way it went. So it's like the old heads are going to be like, back in my day, we used to enjoy a real gas off this one here. And then, you know, he's going to, you're going to pass it on to your pappies, and you know, and young pappy's going to come up and he's going to be like, my pappy used to tell me that there was gas off this one here. And then, you know, he's going to up in, you know, Moonshine Mountain, he's going to grow his own, and it's going to bring back, and then he's going to spread that word, and everyone's going to be like, wow, this one is gas. You can't find this anywhere. And it starts this world of, you know, of exploration and adventure again, where they're all trying to find this next one or this doing, you know, so maybe I'd say worst case scenario, because now we're talking generations. Pappy's teaching pappies at this point. So it's like,
kids, it's kids.
That's right. You know, so this is talk about worst case, and how we have to bring it all
Rob
back.
Used to have that headbagger.
yeah.
His day was some karma genetics.
You see, this me and my daddy, and that's headbanger right there between us, right there.
By then, it'll be a story that they'll say I made it. People be fighting my kids, like, no, bullshit, karma. Like, no,
my daddy.
Yeah.
So that's worst case. That's where it all comes full circle, where the people get it back. But we're talking generations at that point, which is a bit excessive. I see this, you know, I see correction before I see it getting that extreme. I see a removing of schedule rather than
it's going to get rid of a lot of birds. It's going to rack the shotgun and clear a lot of birds out of the mix. I'm telling you that. There's going to be a lot of people out of just fear alone in their investment money who are going to be, I'm getting out of this. I'm just going to invest money into this stock. Like, legit, man. I know people who've spent $5 to $20 million just on a location, one facility, who had medical licenses, who dropped it for recreational, anytime there's an opportunity to save money or shave money, they're doing it. If this increases or this changes for them, or they have to pay for more, that's it, man. A lot of brands are going to fold. It could be good. There could be the mom and pop shops that come because their passion's there. The mom and pop shops aren't getting rich. They're running this place themselves, doing it. It'll be the same thing like a coffee shop nowadays, or, you know, a dispo. I feel one day, my optimism is here more on the end consumer. Like you're saying, one day this is going to be a thing people look back at as like, man, thank God this happened, because it changed the game. The passion came back, the cash grabbers disappeared, and we knew Johnson & Johnson suck. So most of us didn't get it, versus these other guys who will hide behind a cool brand that they paid some California company to make. They're like, no, hey, we're Jeter. We're cool. It's like, no, you suck. You suck. And now we know this because we've already dealt with this. We know you poison people. Yeah.
Yeah. But I'm curious what anyone else thinks, because, you know, we pass ideas between the three of us, and, you know, I bet you there's something we forget. I would like to hope that we're all just a bunch of cynical dads getting old, and we just see things as, you know, going to hell. But maybe there's some validity to that, but maybe there's some optimism out there that we're just not taking into consideration. Love to hear from you guys. So leave that in the comment section below. And if there's you know, we've had some great conversations over the last couple of weeks, whether it's the triploids, whether it's rescheduling. If there's a conversation that you think we should be having and hashing out, we want to hear from you as well. So let us know.
Great conversation.
Thank you guys
as well, man. I enjoy it. I don't love what's going on, but we'll see. Optimism is important. But with that being said, it's your boy Rob, Mr. Grow It, Pigeon 420. We'll see you guys next time. Peace.
Yo, a huge shout out to all our patrons. Rob, Chris, and I want to thank you for your continued support. We wouldn't be able to do content like this if it wasn't for you. If you're watching this and you want to support us, you head to patreon.com/fromthestash. You're going to see stuff that you won't see over here. You'll help support the show, and you can get your name listed at the end of the show. Guys, thank you so much for the support. We thank you.